Come in out of the cold. Let ye come in out of the cold, my parents might say, if our schnot began to freeze and hung further than our knees. Come in, let ye. So in we came, and what our sleeves hadn't gathered was caught in one swoop with a lump of toilet paper, never the luxurious kind to wipe our skinny red raw backsides. When we came in out of the cold, we'd take off our wet shoes and try to dry our socks on the Stanley 8. And with the steam rising from the pair of odd feet and the outside so hot that we'd have to start to chilblains, not to mention the snot. Turf was allowed back then, and an important part of our daily routine for us with no reek to drag the 10-20 bags down from the shed full of the black stuff to keep the Stanley lit, so to dry our wet odd socks and lots of other stuff. Along with the odd block of timber from a fallen tree, or kippens, paper and diesel to set it off, you let the Stanley go out at your peril. He was the centre of our universe. Our life revolved around that metal yoke with its fancy dials we knew nothing about. In our house growing up, in our wet odd socks. Come in out of the cold for Christ's sake, and God forgive me for taking the Lord's name in vain, but you'll freeze to death. The odd socks on our hands now. Wet and warm all at the same time. The tea would be made, teapot boiling up, made from the kettle boiled on the Stanley 8, and the bread too was made in 'em. Sometimes with too much salt, but we didn't care. We'd toast the bread on it too, and that smell still survives in my nostrils. Butter on the blackened bread. We'd boil the eggs, cook the spuds and bacon and cabbage, all fired up by the black gold as it dried our socks and other clothes hanging above, readying for Sunday Mass. The polish too, black and brown, left boldly on the Stanley 8 as one of us got the job of shining the shoes on Saturday night for the first Sunday Mass. 9 or 10 pairs. And you had your sins paid for before you ever dressed to go. My father spent his time switching off lights, and was the immersion left on, and in later years removing the plug from our prized possession for going out, the tumble dryer. We would walk to the shops, cycle to games, save your pennies, he'd say, don't be a fool with your pounds. Share lifts, hitch to town, get a bus if you can, and why in God's name would you go on a plane unless it was to work somewhere? The carbon neutral gang would squeeze into a car to go to Mass and maybe visit Granny Fahy, the highlight of our week. Not hers. So now we are told we cannot use turf. No fossil fuels, the rules, that's that. To heat our homes now we'd have to get rid of a cow or two, but there aren't cows to blame too for this mess. Caused with our Stanley 8. We have to buy plug-in cars that can't go far, and it's going to cost the earth. We fill our sustainable cups in coffee shops strewn around at €4 a cup, and we cannot go without. No kettle on the Stanley now. Horse boxes and vans converted and drawn with diesel cars around town. With the Stanley gone, thrown out in the rush to progress and get with the beat, no peat, no feet with chilblains, no polished shoe, no this'll do. No turning around when things were more environmentally sound. Will ye come in out of the cold?